My name is Hannah. I'm 33 years old now, and my daughter Sophie just turned 9. When people see us walking hand in hand down the street, smiling, laughing, you'd think we have it all figured out. Maybe it looks easy from the outside. Just a woman and her child living their lives, finding joy in small moments. But behind those smiles is a story few know. A story of heartbreak, fear, and survival. A story of strength I never knew I had until I had no choice but to find it. I never expected to raise a child on my own. I didn't plan for this life. Sophie's father, Daniel, and I were together for 4 years. We met in college. He was charming, full of ambition, the kind of man who made promises with confidence, the kind you wanted to believe, and I did. We talked about marriage, about children, about building a life together. When I found out I was pregnant, I was terrified, but also secretly thrilled. I thought we were ready. Daniel didn't, not even close. The day I told him, he went quiet, he paced, then he sat down and looked at me with a blank expression. "I can't do this," he said. I thought he meant he needed time. I was wrong. By the end of that week, he was gone. No note, no goodbye, no apology, just disappeared. I was 24, 3 months pregnant, and completely alone. The months that followed were a blur of tears and uncertainty. My parents lived 3 hours away and were disappointed in me, not because I was pregnant, but because they had always feared Daniel wasn't the man he pretended to be. They were right, but I wasn't ready to admit that yet. I stayed in our apartment, surrounded by all the things we collected, his books, his clothes, his silence. I cried in the bathroom at night so the neighbors wouldn't hear. I went to work during the day, clinging to my job at the front desk of a dental office. My boss was kind, but he didn't know what to say. No one did. The truth is, most people don't know what to say to a woman who's been left behind. When Sophie was born, something inside me changed. The moment they placed her on my chest, all the fear, all the pain, all the shame melted into one overwhelming feeling: love. She had my nose and his eyes, a bittersweet gift. I held her and promised her right then and there, "You will never feel unwanted. You will never feel unloved." I moved back to my hometown when Sophie was 6 months old. My parents welcomed me cautiously. My mum helped with diapers and sleepless nights. My dad was quieter, but I could tell he was trying. I found a job at a local clinic, rented a tiny apartment with peeling paint and old carpets, and began piecing together a life for just the two of us. Single motherhood is not romantic. It's not all empowering mantras and strong mum hashtags. It's raw, it's exhausting, it's lonely. There were days I had to choose between groceries or electricity. Nights I went to bed hungry so Sophie could have an extra bottle. There were winters we slept in layers because the heat bill was too high. I remember standing in a grocery store once, holding a can of formula, staring at the price, and doing math in my head while Sophie cried in the cart. A woman passed by and said, "Some people shouldn't have kids if they can't afford them." I bit my lips so hard I tasted blood. But there were also good moments, precious ones. Sophie's first steps, taken across the living room carpet while I cheered like we'd won a gold medal. Her first word, "Mama." The way she reached for my hand when she was scared. The way she kissed my cheek at bedtime and whispered, "You're the best mummy." I never had time to grieve the life I lost. The partner I thought I'd have, the future I imagined. There wasn't space for that. Every day was a race between work, daycare, bills, dinner, and sleep. I learned to live on little. I learned to do everything myself, fixing leaky faucets, assembling furniture, helping with homework while cooking pasta. But I also learned how strong I could be. Sophie is older now. She asks questions. "Where's my dad?" For years I told her, "He lives far away." But one night, when she was 7, she sat beside me on the couch and looked at me with those same eyes he left behind. Did he not want me? The words hit like glass. I took a breath and said the truth I had buried deep. "It wasn't about you, sweetheart. He didn't know how to be a dad, but that's his loss, not yours, because you have so many people who love you." She leaned into me and whispered, "I'm glad I have you." And I cried, not because I was sad, but because I finally understood something. We were enough. We had always been enough. Sometimes I still see couples holding hands at the park or fathers tossing their children in the air, and for a moment a dull ache stirs in my chest, not because I envy them, but because I once thought I couldn't do this alone, that without a partner I'd fail. But I didn't. I raised a kind, bright, joyful little girl. I taught her how to love, how to be brave, how to get back up when life knocks you down. I did it without lullabies sung by two voices, without shared coffee cups, without anyone beside me at night. There's a different kind of pride that grows in a mother who has carried everything on her own. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it's quiet, steady, built in the moments when no one is watching. It lives in the way Sophie runs to me after school, in the drawings she tapes to our fridge that say, "Me and Mummy," in the way she hugs me tight before bed and says, "I love you times a million." People sometimes ask me now, how did you do it? I smile and say, one day at a time, because that's the truth about single motherhood. There's no secret, no magic, just love. A love so fierce it carries you through the darkest nights. A love that refuses to quit. I didn't choose this path, but I walked it anyway. And in the process, I found something beautiful, not just in my daughter, but in myself. I am not just